Golf isn't known for being the most forgiving game. But there's nothing quite like shanking your ball into the drink or pond. That's where this guy comes in. Here at TPC Sawgrass, hundreds of golfers lose their balls to the infamous par 3 17th hole. But one golfer's misery is another man's gold. This is Gordon Davis.
My name is Gordon Davis, and I'm a professional golf ball diver.
And he makes a living diving for golf balls all over Florida.
I've been diving for golf balls approximately 50 years.
And there are a lot of balls to be found.
On average, when I'm diving, I'll pick up 3,000 to 4,000.
3,000 to 4,000?
3,000 to 4,000.
Whoa. So how do you find these golf balls?
It's mostly, just feel, picking them up out of the mud, and some places the mud's so deep that you can't do nothing with it,
And it's that mud that makes it impossible to see, well, anything.
Most courses, there's very few that has clear water. Most of them has poor visibility because of the algae and all that.
So what happens next?
After I pull the balls out, they go through, pick out some of them, and they take them from there.
They being someone who wants to repurpose these balls.
These balls are authentic.
These authentic balls are diced up, placed in all sorts of usable keepsakes like cufflinks, watches, and bottle openers. And Gordon, he knows what it takes to be a professional golf ball diver.
Well, I tell people you got to be a kind of a special cat to be a golf ball diver. Somebody with grit and that wants to be an independent person. It's like with any other business, someone has to do it. Everybody has a different job, and this is happened to be mine.
Seeing as you're kind of a special cat, any advice for golfers trying to keep their balls dry?
Yeah, take up another sport. Hole in one.
There's something about standing on stage and thinking about the people that have doubted me in the past. Standing on stage and thinking about the people who I would say hello to and they would just look at me and keep on walking. It's in that moment where I'm on stage where none of that mattered, where people see me as more than just a janitor. I am Keenan Kyles. I am an internationally touring opera singer. I performed at Lincoln Center and Carnegie Hall and the Chicago Theater and all these amazing venues. But at the end of the day, in order to support those dreams and support my life, I am a janitor. I am a janitor because bills are something that is very real. And as you get older, they get bigger. The assumptions that people have about janitors are that they are uneducated, impoverished. I cannot tell you how many looks I've gotten and side eyes because they just think that, oh, you're just a janitor. It's so interesting because they never took the time to really know who this person is that is cleaning up after them. Being an opera singer is very hard. It's not easy technically because opera music is very complex. I meet with my vocal coach / mentor once or twice a week, but I myself rehearse probably 2 hours on top of that a day. I am currently rehearsing this lead role of Rigoletto for the Clyde Opera Group's production in Scotland. Rigoletto is my first title role, which makes this moment so amazing for me because the whole opera is about him and his story. Coming from being a janitor to starring in a show is very empowering. Being a janitor has humbled me and has grounded me so much. You have to hold on to yourself because nobody cares about your dreams more than you do.
been told that there's no spot for a woman in this sport. I've been physically assaulted in the cage, but I didn't let any of that stop me. Sometimes the fight is outside of the ring. I'm Sweezy Valentine, and I'm the first and only cut woman in MMA. What we do is we wrap the fighters' hands before they fight, and we take care of them between rounds. If there's any bleeding, we stop it. If there's any swelling, we take it away. Pretty much the Cutman motto is to give them that one round that they needed to win. I saw my first live MMA fight, and it was just such a cool experience, and I wanted to be a part of that arena as much as I could. I talked to the promoter and asked him what jobs there were. He told me that my option was to be a ring girl. I had to wear the tiniest string bikini. It was super uncomfortable to be wearing that in front of all these people. That was not a fit for me. I saw the fighters getting their hands wrapped, and I immediately got butterflies in my stomach, and I knew that was what I was supposed to be a part of. I would drive 60 miles one way to gyms, and I would voluntarily sit there and wrap fighters' hands for their sparring sessions. Just the sacrifice of doing it for so long without getting any income out of it was really, really hard. I was a single mother of 2 young boys and still trying to be a cut woman. Wrapping hands is more than just putting gauze around a hand. If you do not wrap a fighter's hands correctly, then their hands will break. You need to wrap hundreds and hundreds of hands to be considered great. I'd wrap my kids' hands, I'd wrap my parents' hands, I'd wrap my friends' hands. I would wrap as many hands as I could possibly find. It took me years to feel like I got it down. My first paying gig was WSOF, World Series of Fighting, in 2010, after 4 years of doing it for free. In 2014, I was added to the roster of UFC Cutman. UFC is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It is the most famous stage in the world. It's like the Olympics of MMA. And now I travel all over the world being a cut woman for the UFC.
Nice job!
During my journey of being a cut woman, I had a lot of ups and downs. My kids are a huge reason why I do all this. They can see me, not giving up and in the end, hitting my goal. And that's what carried me through 10 years of it. It's just that desire inside of just keep going, keep going. I understand what the fighter has to go through to get into the cage. We both had to fight to get our spot in the ring.
There's a certain feeling of adrenaline once you get up there in the air. It's a feeling unlike any other. You feel power. You feel like you're in control. You feel special. That's what makes trapeze beautiful. That's what makes the circus beautiful. My name is Kristen Finley, and I'm a trapeze artist. 15 years ago, I was working for a brewery in Los Angeles. I had a great life, making great money. I had, my Lexus, and I had a house. I was only, 24 years old. A friend of mine told me that she was flying trapeze, and I said, "What are you doing? I want to come watch." I ended up taking a class, and I was hooked. It was addictive right away. And I quit my life in LA and I joined the circus. I went from good pay to zero pay. Just had to give everything up pretty much overnight. And here we are 15 years later. I never looked back and I've been on the road ever since. To run away and join the circus, it takes commitment. You have to be ready for anything. You have to kind of live on your toes because you never know what's going to happen. Your own personal space, your RV or whatever, that's your home. And that's what has to be stable inside. Whenever you're flying trapeze, you have to focus on what you're doing. And the moment you doubt yourself in the middle of a trick, most likely you're going to mess up, you're not going to make it. The fact that I was able to do it made it more appealing to me. I'm doing these tricks and they're harder, and this is awesome. Whatever you want to do in your wildest dreams, do it. Anything's possible. There's not too many African American female circus performers, but I was still able to do it. Your life is what you make of it, and I wouldn't change my life for the world. I really wouldn't.